A center of excellence, a nurturing space for innovation, creativity, and academic freedom. This is the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. As a constituent university of the University of the Philippines system, UPLB is a leading national higher education and research institution in various niche areas. Grounding itself on the needs of national development, UPLB cultivates well-rounded and critical leaders who are ready to lead breakthroughs and innovations. Through its industrial and academic partnerships, UPLB propagates its gains to advance inclusive development in various sectors. Educational institution that upholds honor, excellence, and public service.
"112 years ago, the UP Board of Regents had a vision to develop their true firstborn college that will spearhead national development through agriculture. At the foot of Mount Makiling, Edwin B. Copeland, together with 7 faculty and 12 students, embarked on the journey to create the UP College of Agriculture, or UPCA. Through its 112 years of existence, the college has produced over 1,000 technologies and variety of plants and animals, 9 national scientists, over 30 outstanding young scientists, and more than 18,000 graduates contributing to agricultural development. UPCA, now College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, has been continuously contributing to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension function. A mere 10 years after establishment, the college was able to start breeding works with the production of sugarcane varieties with high productivity and resistance to Fiji and mosaic disease. In the 1920s, the importance of agriculture was intensified and UPCA was recognized as neighboring countries began sending their students to Los Baños because of the high quality of education. In the 1930s, breeds with superior characteristics such as the Burkhala pig, Los Baños Cantonese chicken, and filament cattle were developed. The 1960s was a fruitful decade for research. Makapuno, a coconut cultivar often made into a dessert, was pioneered and perfected. Meanwhile, the Dairy Training and Research Institute was the first in the country to freeze buffalo semen, paving the way for artificial insemination of local carabaos. Along with the establishment of UPLB in the 70s, the college received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding, Asia's counterpart for the Nobel Peace Prize. In the same decade, the C4 plants were developed. The soil test kits were produced in support of the Masagana 99 program, and the mango induction technique was introduced. Continuing the production of quality research outputs in the 1980s, techniques to minimize post-harvest losses, the accelerated fish sauce manufacturing process, and the rapid test kit for the detection of pesticide residue on vegetables were developed. The 1990s saw many new varieties across species or crop types, including Sinta Papaya, the first Philippine-bred hybrid, UPLB Gold, a durian variety, and Doña Amelica, a musaenda named after the wife of former President Fidel Ramos. The award-winning National Corn-Based Farmer Scientist RDE Training Program, or FSTP, was also established around this time and still remains as one of the university's primary extension programs. In the field of instruction, the book titled Integrating Sustainable Agriculture in the BSA Curriculum, the UPLB College of Agriculture Experience, was published in 1999. At present, the College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAPS, continues to be the premier institution of higher learning in agriculture and food science, and remains committed to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension programs. In order to produce the best graduates, all of our courses are outcomes-based education, and continuous improvement of the curriculum is being practiced to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As testament of excellence, CAPS is constantly recognized by different organizations. In research, we continue to implement relevant studies with focus on the 12 priority commodities to address food security. Moreover, technologies are constantly developed to aid in responsible food production. Supplementing these are extension activities to disseminate the knowledge generated to improve food productivity and livelihood of the people. We believe that present technologies will future-proof our food systems. Some of our notable developments are iDetect, Coraginam, Plant Health and Pest Clinic, Pest Management Tools and Techniques, Smarter Pest Identification Technology or SPEedTech, Snap Hydroponics, Drone Technology, Rapid Immunofilter Assay for Virus Indexing, Nanofertilizers Fertigrow, Hormogrow, Nanobiosensors, and Biochar. We at the College of Agriculture and Food Science will continue to promote and nurture a culture with innovative yet conscientious minds and cutting-edge skills to lead and serve the country and the region. We are one college with one goal towards sustainable food systems.
A pleasant morning, everyone. Welcome to the NCPC anniversary webinar with the theme Advancing Agriculture with Innovative Pest Management Strategies, Ensuring Food Security for Future Generations. This webinar is organized by the National Crop Protection Center, College of Agriculture and Food Science, UP Las Bañas, as part of NCPC's 48th anniversary celebration. I am Ramalyn Limpiada Mieres from the National Crop Protection Center, and I will be your host for today. In today's event, we will have one speaker presenting the topic of biological control for sustainable agriculture. Just a reminder, please mute your microphones to avoid unnecessary noise during the speaker's presentation. If you have questions, you may submit them via Zoom Q&A tab or type them in the comment section of Facebook or YouTube anytime during the event. At the end of the webinar, you will be asked to answer the evaluation form to receive an e-certificate. At this point, we will hear an opening remarks from the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Food Science. Let us all welcome Dr. Elpidio M. Advisit Jr.
Hi, Roma. Good morning. Do you hear me properly?
Yes, Dean.
To the men and women of the National Crop Protection Center, to your director, Dr. Barbara Kawili, to our resource speaker, Dr. Noor Azura Binti Adam, to the members of the CAPS family, to all the guardians of the crop industry, friends, partners, and everyone joining us virtually for the National Crop Protection Center's anniversary webinar. On behalf of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, I would like to extend a warm welcome. This year marks the 48th anniversary of the National Crop Protection Center, a significant milestone that reflects NCPC's commitment to safeguarding Philippine agriculture. The anniversary theme, Advancing Agriculture with Innovative Pest Management Strategies, Ensuring Food Security for Future Generations, is very relevant with the challenges and goals we face in the agriculture sector. Innovative pest management techniques are more important than ever as we go through the agriculture landscape constant change. Shifting climate is disrupting weather patterns, leading to the emergence and spread of pests and diseases. Traditional methods are often proving less effective, stressing the need for a sustainable solution. For those of you who understand that pest management strategies are not more than just technical solutions, but they are the foundation of a resilient and sustainable agriculture system. By managing pests efficiently, we can reduce crop losses, maximize yield, and guarantee the supply of a wholesome food for current and future generations. The theme of this anniversary week emphasizes the value of collaboration. We are extremely lucky to have Dr. Noor Azura Binti Adam, Deputy Director for Programs of the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, or SHERCA, as our resource speaker. Dr. Noor's background in entomology, as well as her expertise in regional collaboration for sustainable agriculture, will definitely bring useful insights. Hopefully, this webinar will motivate us to collaborate across boundaries to address common concerns. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the entire NCPC team for your dedication and outstanding work. I understand that this is only the second activity in a series, and you have a long week ahead of you. And thank you for all your valuable work. Before I hand over the floor to Dr. Noor, I invite everyone to actively participate in this webinar, ask questions, share your experiences, and join the discussion that follows. Let us work together to enhance agriculture and ensure food security for the future generation. Good morning once again, and I hope to see most of you at the various events of the National Crop Protection Center has planned for us this week. Thank you very much, and may all your dreams and aspirations come true. Hiraya Manawari to everyone.
Thank you very much, Dean Advisit. We will be having a photo opportunity, so our technical team will facilitate the photo op. Mishar.
Okay, please open your cameras. Okay, so if everyone is ready, okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Once more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mishar. We will now proceed with our presentation, but allow me first to introduce our speaker. Our speaker is the current SIRCA Deputy Director for Programs. She previously served as the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture at University Putra, Malaysia. During her tenure, she oversaw the development of a 5-year strategic plan for the faculty with the goal of establishing it as a leading hub for Southeast Asian agriculture. She was actively involved in student development and the review of academic programs, requiring her to strategize and plan to create effective action plans aimed at producing well-rounded graduates. Additionally, she established international linkages and collaborations for academic programs, facilitating student academic exchange and mobility activities. She holds a doctorate and master's degrees in entomology, as well as Bachelor of Science in Zoology from University Kebangsaan, Malaysia. Since 2020, she has served as an auditor for academic programs under the Malaysia Board of Technologists Accreditation and as a panel advisor for the Master of Science in Entomology at University Kebangsaan, Malaysia, and the Crop Agro-Industry Diploma Program at the College of Vocational Ministry of Education, Malaysia. In 2018, she gained professional experience in Paris, France, as the Malaysian representative of regional and sub-regional assessments of biodiversity and ecosystem services for the Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. From 2008 to 2015, she received several honors and awards, including Excellent Service Award, Best Lecturer, and Public Incentive Award. To discuss Gardens of the Green, Biological Control Agents for Sustainable Agriculture, let us all welcome Associate Professor, Professional Technologies, Dr. Noor Azura Binti Adam.
Thank you very much. Thank you once again. I hope everybody can hear my voice loud and clear.
Yes, Dr. Noor.
All right, thank you. Okay, I will share my slides now. You can see my slides, yeah? Well, again, magandang umaga sa inyo lahat, and also for those outside from Philippines, I just browsed through, whereas one or two of my former PhD students are here. Thank you very much. Once again, first of all, I would like to congratulate to NCPC for their 48th anniversary. And for today, I was given the task to talk about the biological control agents per se. This will be something I think most of you, for those who are already in NCPC or entomologists, right? You have quite vast knowledge on this one, but it doesn't matter because we can share, because the purpose of this talk is that for us to share, to see what are the advances maybe in the biological control in other countries. So I hope that this session, less than maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes presentation will give a better idea of what are the initiatives maybe have been done maybe in Malaysia and also the other countries in Asia. So the title, I was thinking, what should I give the title? So I love the Guardian of the Galaxy so much with all the, sequels. So yeah, the title is Guardians of the Greens, Biological Control Agent for Sustainable Agriculture. Now, before we start, my first slide, this was taken early this morning at 1:24. The current population in the world is 8.1 billion. And you can see here, the birth is actually, I would say, like 3 times than the mortality, the death. We can see, meaning that more birth from each single second. If you go to the worldometer, you can see every single half second there are newborn child. So it will pile up now at 8.1 million. So if you go through in the top 20 largest countries by population, you can see Philippines is number 13. So the current is 118 million. 118 million in terms of the population in Philippines. So, and it is growing. if you go through under these worldometers, you can find that in terms of the growth, population growth in Philippines, it is more during the 60s. You can see the growth is a bit high peak there, going up, but starting from 2000, it was slowing down, increasing, but gradually. So now it's 118 million. So from the Economist Impact Survey, through the Global Food Security Index in 2022, this is the latest one, and there's no 2023 yet. So let's have a look. What does it mean by the Global Food Security Index? To see there are 113 countries involved in this survey that have been done by the Economist Impact. And I would like to bring all of you to the Philippines GFSI. Yeah. So for the Philippines, in the 113 countries that been involved in this survey, Philippines falls under 67 in terms of the food security. When you look into the index, when you talk about food security, there are four factors being evaluated: the affordability, availability, quality, and also sustainability and adaptation. Philippines are doing great in terms of affordability. It's very affordable. It's more than 70%. But when it comes to sustainability and adaptation, sustainability, the source of the food itself for the agriculture, that will be a little bit, worrying because it is under 50%. So I guess looking at this one, 67 would say in the middle. Yeah, it's actually in the middle of the index ranking from the 113 countries. So what you can see about this is when you look back, the world population, have you seen now? It's already 8 just now is 8.1 million, but in 2030 it was estimated to be 8.6 billion, and it will pile up until 2100. So more people being born, yeah. So what can you say about that? So meaning that more food are needed, to serve, to serve all the population in the world. So when looking into this, since that we would like to have more food. Food security is one of the important things in every country. So with the challenges in growing population, the most important thing, how well a country can produce or maybe afford, or maybe the availability of the food will be in the country. So the challenges now is in the agriculture sector. Yeah. So since the population is, is increasing and increasing, so now you can see that people, the industry, agriculture industry is now turning into monocropping. We can't deny that. We can't stop that. Yeah. So monocropping, a mass production of one single crops, yeah, especially for the food crops is very demanding. Yeah. So a large scale of cropping systems, and this we cannot avoid in terms of the use of pesticides. Yeah, because how can you control in terms of a big, large scale area? So, but however, there are also another problem rise is the indiscriminate use of pesticide, because it all comes to the mass production, how many yields that you can produce. And sometimes people, and most of the time people will, they have to, because of this urge to be so more and more excessive use of pesticides has been done in the monocropping systems. So from there, the problems rise. Yeah. So that there will be a widespread developments of resistance of pests towards the pesticides and crop residues because of the mass production of single crops, and the non-target effects in terms of the pesticides residues that involve in the field. Yeah. That will also lead to environmental contaminations of pesticide, fertilizers, so on and so forth. So this always will concern the public in terms of health risk. So these are the things happens. So with this case, because when looking into the crop protection, the use of pesticide, okay, let's have a look at the crop protection kind of things. When you talk about crop protection, we can define it as it's a collection of tools, products, practices that farmers use to defend their crops against diseases, insect pests, and also weeds. Yeah. So, but however, there are a lot of there are other techniques, many techniques being involved, methods has been involved in terms of a crop protection. But for these particular things, I would like to highlight one of them, yeah, which is under the which is more minimum effect to the environment and human health, and we will look into the biological control. Yeah. So what is a biological control? If I'm in a class, that is one thing, that first thing I will ask the students. But for those who are not in the field of biological control, let's have a look. When you talk about biological control, it is a method or maybe biological control agent. It is an organism, the use of organisms, living organisms, to control another living organisms, right? So the use of natural, sometimes it's the use of the natural enemies, sometimes it is introduced organisms to a certain area, yeah. But the reason is, the main purpose is that these organisms will control, will regulate the population of another organisms. In this case, in the agriculture point of view, we're talking about to control the pest and disease populations. So it can be generally divided into three categories. Yeah, whether the control is using the predators and organisms, what we call as parasitoids, and also the use of pathogens. So let's have a look first. I just want to talk, when normally people will talk about natural enemies, they will always look into two natural enemies that is more, able to be seen. The one is the word predators, and the other one is parasitoids. Let's have a look at the predators first. Some of this, one of these inputs that I have in my presentation is a study from my former students, PhD students. So predators. So natural enemies, predators, the definition to differentiate it with a parasitoids is that a predator is an organism that consumes its prey directly. Yeah, they will consume, most of them are both immature stage, yeah, and also adult predators. They can become a predators, and normally the size is bigger than the prey. So when they consume an organisms, so the consumed organism is called a prey. So I would like to bring one examples that have been done, the study that had been done by my former PhD students, by Dr. Sha'ari, where we have these predators named Cycnus dichotomus. It's a predator of a bagworm in an oil palm plantation in Malaysia to control the bagworm named Matissa plana. So for your information, Matissa plana is one of the major pests in our oil palm plantation. Yeah. So one of the potential that has been found to be effectively killing or to control the bagworm is the Cycnus dichotomus. It's a true bugs. So they have the efficiency of killing 81% compared to another species of predator, Cosmolestes picticeps. All right. So this predation of Cycnus dichotomus, the ranging of predations is up to 73% preying on bagworms. So this is also reported a good control for Spodoptera exigua. Yeah, it's an armyworm. So I guess that this is one of our examples that we did a very successful one. So I guess that there are others that maybe people have been looking into the use of ladybugs, and also what we call as a fly, syrphid fly, yeah, where you can see here the syrphid fly as a larva. They can feed on the aphids, as you all know that most of us know that aphids is one of the major pests for most of the vegetables in the groups of maybe the beans, yeah. So you can see that it is a very effective one. So these are some examples how these predators can be either introduced or maybe to regulate the population, to maintain the population that have already been there in the field itself. So that is per predator. So I would like to go to another type, which is the parasitoids. Is another type of natural enemies. From these videos this is not my own videos, I got it from the internet. You can see here in the middle here, it is a caterpillar. And crawling out from the caterpillar is a parasitoid. Yeah, it is a larvae. So you can see here that for the parasitoids, it's a bit different from the predator because it needs host to live in and they consume their host slowly. Yeah, that's why it is terms of parasites or parasitoids. Yeah, because the criteria, the characteristic is just like a parasite, the true parasites, where they will have a host. They need a host for them to grow into adults. Yeah, so you can see here the immature stage develop either within or attached to the outside of other insects, where we refer says at host. These are some examples from the studies that we've been done. We try to find out what are other parasitoids, the species of parasitoids. And you can see from this picture, there's a parasitoid. It's a female parasitoid that have what we call an ovipositor. Yeah, the middle one here, ovipositor, which this is the device that used to lay eggs on or inside the host. Yeah, so particularly here, you can see there are some parasitoid that have a very short ovipositor, the egg-laying devices. Some of them have a very long ovipositor like this one, and it all depends on where the location of the host, whether it is concealed inside a tree trunk, a tree bark, then you need to have a longer ovipositor. Where if, let's say, the host is very exposed on the leaves, then the species will not have a long ovipositor. They will have a short one because there is no need to have a very long ovipositor to penetrate a certain surface. Yeah. So looking into this one, the parasitoids, as I mentioned just now, they really need a host. And normally, compared to the predator, the parasitoid is smaller compared to the host. Yeah. So you can see here, these are as examples of how the host or prey searching, host searching for the parasitoid is a Brachyphylla. And then these are the criteria of a parasitoids, whether it is a coinobian parasitoid or it's a idiobian parasitoids. Why is it important for us? I mean, especially for the researchers to know whether it is the species is a coinobian or idiobian, because the mode of killing the host is different. Okay, as you know that natural enemies, their aim is, to feed or consume the host or the prey. But the range, the duration when they will kill their host or their prey, it really depends on the mode of actions. For example, here, coinobian parasitoid, what they do is that when they lay eggs, normally it is inside the host, they will still leave the host to live and to continue to develop. And normally they will attack a early stage of larva. For example, a caterpillar, like first insta larva or second insta larva, because they don't kill it directly. So the benefits of it is that they will consume slowly, the larva inside the body. They will get the nutrients from the food eaten by the coinobian parasitoids. So they will only, until they reach to the adult stage, then only they will kill the host by penetrating the tissue bodies. Yeah. Whereas for the idion parasitoid, this kind of parasitoid, they immediately, once they injected their eggs, they will prevent the host to further develop. They were initially parasitizing, they were paralyzed, the host, and the host has no ability, to consume, to feed and everything. They were just like static there, become idle, and they're just waiting for the time to be killed, right? So you can see here, it seems very, very sadist in terms of that, but these are the things are very beautiful of natural enemies, which we can use their characteristic, whatever traits that they have in agriculture in terms of to control the pests. Yeah. So these are some examples, very popular examples. You can see that mostly in the vegetables, crops industry is that to control in cabbage in Malaysia. One of them is the use of a parasitoid named trichogramma, which has been used to control the diamondback moth, a moth that infesting the cabbage, for example. Yeah. And also some other leafy vegetables. So it has been used, but the question now, how do we introduce these parasitoids and also natural enemies? So are they available? So there are some challenges in terms of that. And we're looking into that. Normally, people will look into 3 ways to be able to produce, to have a diversity of parasitoids and so natural enemies, such as the predators in the agriculture field. So the implementation of these strategies, normally they have 3 ways. I think the first one is the really augmentation. When you talk about augmentation, is that you protect the natural population which already available in the field by making sure that the habitats for these particular species available as a natural enemies of that particular area, you preserve, protect, by having more planting of beneficial plants, and so on and so forth. It is also very related to habitat augmentation. You enhance the diversity of plants surrounding your agricultural area. And that is where the word ecological engineering approach comes in, where you build the ecosystem that have value both to humans and also the nature. What you do is that you restore, you design, an ecosystem surrounding your agricultural area to make it benefits, by having a beneficial plants to enhance the population of the parasitoid and also the predators. So the developments of new sustainable ecosystem that have human and ecology value. So you can see here, the value benefits goes to the crops in terms of regulation of pests by the natural enemies, by providing the environment, having the beneficial plants, that will increase natural enemies also. For your information, that that why do we need all these beneficial plants to be able to be there in the agricultural area? Because it also serves as a food source for the natural enemies. Yeah, because that they need nectar for reproduction and also for energy. So they're not consumed only on the host or prey. They also need energy in terms of reproduction, in terms of foraging, finding foods, and also to to fly, to do their own activities. That's why energy is needed. So ecological engineering, you make sure that the augmentation of the habitats is very, very critical, so that you can increase the population of the natural enemies. This is from the G Planters Malaysia. There are beneficial plants has been implemented in various of the plantation of oil palm plantation in Malaysia. And one of the studies has been done by also by Dr. Shari, my former students, is looking into what are the beneficial plants suitable to be introduced, in the oil palm plantation. And some of them, and from the study, we found that it's another Cassia cabanensis and also Tunera subulata has been found here. You can see in the pictures are two effective to promote more secondness dichotomous that have been shot just not a predator to be available in the field, in the oil palm plantation. So these are some initiatives that have been done to promote the population of the natural enemies. Now, just now we mentioned there are three biological control agents. We have already touched on the natural enemies such as the predators and also on the parasitoids. So these are the most widely used by farmers or maybe for those who are involved in agriculture sectors. The use of pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and sometimes also the parasitic nematodes, falls under the pathogens. So one of the successful one have been commercialized is the use of, I think, a BT. It's already well known as BT, or the species named Bacillus thuringiensis. It is a bacteria that has been widely used, where it can produce a toxin to control a certain insect pest. And also some backworms, okay? It is very specific, few problems hitting the non-target insects. So one of the commercialized is the EcoBac. It is a concentrated or formulated for controlling backworm outbreaks. Yeah? And for the coconut plantation, to control what we call as the maybe rhinoceros beetles, we have a microbes, the pathogens that use is under the Metarhizium anisopliae and also Beauveria. So to control rhinoceros beetles in coconut plantation. Yeah? So since it's the fungi, it can penetrate insects' cuticles, especially at the stage of the larva most of the time. It can be also been done for the adult, but I would say that more effective it will be on the larva stage. So, but however, as you know that fungi, we need high humidity to germinate. Yeah. So there are study, research has been done where they can come out with a formulation, a biopesticide that the fungi can germinate even at a semi-arid environment. Yeah. This is to control what we call it, the rhinoceros beetles. What are other microbes I can see here? Also the viruses, yeah, the NPV, the nuclear polyhedrosis virus, where you can see from this picture, the virus can infect caterpillars such as the Helicobacter amigera here. It's a bollworm, cotton bollworm. This also being formulated as a biopesticide. So you can see the once it's been applied, yeah, to the larva, you can see that they will hang invertedly, meaning that from the twigs, meaning that it's ready to be killed, yeah, becoming swollen with fluid and so containing virus, and eventually it will die. And normally it will become black in color. So these are one examples of the NPV on chickpea in India that has been implemented. Yeah. Whereas also, we can also use parasitic nematodes. This is what sometimes people will call it as entopathogenic nematodes. From this picture, there's one study here has been done is to control slugs, yeah, by using the parasitic nematodes. And there are many nematode-based product is available. And normally, to have a biopesticide from a nematodes, they are associates, yeah, with the symbiotic association with other bacteria. Yeah? And normally the species under the genus Telenorma and also Heterodactylis, these are the two genus from the parasitic nematodes has been widely used in terms of a formulation of a biopesticide along to associate it with the bacteria. You can see here examples how infective juvenile of a parasitic nematodes will enter a slug, a grown-up slug, and they will start to develop, into self-fertilizing because it's a hermaphrodites, so they will start to reproduce inside the slug, and eventually it will cause a characteristic of swelling, and eventually it will die. And once the nematodes is released from the host body, it will go to the soil and try to find sources, food source again, and it will become a cycle. So I think the use of parasitic nematodes it's already I think it's a long time ago. The study, if you can have a look at studies, maybe made in India, there's a lot of study of the parasitic nematodes have been used. Because for the parasitic nematodes, one of the characteristics is that they can kill the target in a very short period. 48 hours to 24 to 48 hours, so that the killing target is very high. So one of the things that in India has been used of these parasitic nematodes to control various soil dwelling stages of insect pests. Normally at the stage of seedlings, for those who are dwelling in the soil and everything, the pests that will be controlled by the parasitic nematodes. So looking into this one, having mentioned, there are people will say, I always been questions, how effective is using the biological control? Let's not forget that whatever kind of control, they will not work. It will not work if it's just using one methods. It has to be integrated with other control methods. And I cannot deny saying that the use of other methods such as the pesticide, the conventional pesticide, the cultural control, the use of resistant varieties, and you will also have the genetic control methods, the physical control. So this combination of various techniques will be a better choice rather than focusing only on one methods. So the way that we see here that it has to be integrated with other methods. However, there are challenges. So normally people will, although the concept of integrated pest management has been long dated to the 60s, during the 50s and 60s, the 60s on the integrated pest management, because the reason of integrated pest management is to reduce the use of conventional pesticides, by integrating it with other environmental friendly methods. And one of the way of doing it is introducing the natural enemies or the biological control agent. So, but the challenges are there in terms of how do you ensure, because it always normally, even to rare, to culture parasitoid, for example, you also have to rear another organism, which is the host. The same thing goes also with the predators, where you also have to culture also the prey. So these are the things that sometimes hinders the big industry in agriculture to support, to implement biological control in the field. I think one of the effective way by going towards biopesticides, introducing of pathogens in the formulation of a biopesticides. But there's also a challenge there. The price is higher compared to the conventional pesticide. So these are the challenges, the things you have to balance if the implementation of biocontrol need to be, or you want to introduce it as part of the implementation of IPM. So that's why there are in future prospects, maybe there are things also we need to be considered. So for example, at the advancements of genetic improvement of biological control agents. So because at the same time, a biological control agent is also hampered by the problem of being killed by the pesticides used. The non-target pest species will also involve when you use excessive use of a certain pesticide. So maybe with an advancement, this is a challenge for the scientists. Maybe we can come out with a biological control agent, which is have an improvement in the genetic in terms of resistance, resistance to the certain pesticides, and also in terms of technological integration, the use of drones and AI. The people will be asking, how can you use drone and AI for biological control? It has been done for fertilizers. It has been done in terms of sowing seeds, using the drones. And who knows, maybe at the same time, also this can be done also in terms of when we want to apply the release of additional natural enemies in the field using the drones. One of the studies maybe have been done, one of the scientists in UPM, University Putra, Malaysia, is doing the monitoring of certain species, but it is on pests. A monitoring of certain insect pests in the field to see whether the population is, going fluctuate, when is there any outbreak. So I think these technology, modern technology, also can be used if, let's say, there are scientists taking the challenge to look into monitoring of the population of the natural enemies in a certain agricultural area. So these are some future prospects. So with that, we need more research on the biological control studies, funding, research, to see an important, because we can see the importance of sustainable management of the agricultural field. So importance of continuous research and development in this field. But this must be supported by a policy by the authorities, by the government to support the use of biological control, whether it is biopesticides or also the introducing of the studies on introducing of mass introduction of biological control agents in the field. So there should be like a policy in terms of supporting companies, supporting farmers, whenever they're using the sustainable way in their farms, in terms of maybe in terms of subsidies or reducing a certain price. Because one of the challenging, I think, things in Malaysia is the price of biopesticides. So these are the things the regulatory framework should be revised in order to support the use of biological control in the field of agriculture. So with that, I would say that in conclusion, I would say that there are many potentials, and being as a SEARCAN, we would like to see that studies, NCPC as one of the leading, I think, center, we can link with the researchers from among the Southeast Asian country. Because to me, it is good to share the knowledge within the Southeast Asian researchers, because we share, most of all will be a little bit similar in terms of the climates and everything, and we share also certain species. I have seen also some references in the Philippines. We have a set similar species that we have in Malaysia. The problem is, if the introductions of new natural enemies from outside, different environment, different climate, that will become a problem. So that's why not we share it among the Southeast Asian country, the knowledge, and SEARCA will be the link between these experts from around Southeast Asia. And I hope that NCPC become a leading centers on the crop protection, giving the emphasis on the use of biological control agent as part of the guardians of the green in the world. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Noor, for that very comprehensive and interesting presentation. Yeah, we can do more activities similar to this with regards to biological control agents. Okay, we will now proceed with the open forum. To assist us in the open forum, may I call on a colleague from the National Crop Protection Center, Ms. Morin Saires de Rojas.
Thank you, Ms. Rama, for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. So I'm thrilled to be leading the open forum session today. So before we move on to the open forum, again, we would like to take a moment to express our sincere appreciation for Dr. Nur's engaging and informative presentation. Your presentation has been truly fascinating, shedding light on the importance of embracing biological control agents as a sustainable approach to pest management. So, as we delve into this topic, we invite each of you to actively participate by sharing your questions, insights, and experiences. Your engagement is key to making this session more informative and enriching for all. So whether you have queries about BCAs, sustainable agriculture practices, or related topics, now is the time to voice them. So let's spark meaningful discussions, explore different perspectives, and deepen our understanding of this crucial topic. So feel free to type your questions in the chat box, and I will do my very best to address as many as possible during our open forum. Okay, looking forward to your hearing your questions and insights. Now let's begin our open forum session.
I see one questions in the Q&A. Yeah.
Yes, from Vince Ilagan.
Yeah.
His question is, what are the major challenges faced in the mass production and commercialization of biological control agents?
Okay. These are true, I mean, some experience, because there are my students have been doing on the biological control mass running. So as I mentioned just now, the biggest challenges is you are dealing with the living living organisms, all right? So if it is a chemicals, you can play around because they will not move, they will not die, they will, compared to a living organisms, there are certain needs in terms of the what do you call it, the conditions, the abiotic conditions to rear it, right? And then you also need to make sure that you will find the right host. Yeah, you have to rear both. As I mentioned just now, you need the biological control agent. For example, you need to mass rear, rearing the parasitoids, ecumenids or braconids, a group of parasitoids. Yeah, you need the host. They're both living organisms and they have different conditions, the needs in terms of the abiotic environment factors. So that's why research, a thorough research, and it always takes a long time in terms to well establish the most optimum condition to rear both host and also the parasite. That is the biggest challenge. Yeah. Secondly, the challenge is also if it is a local natural enemies, okay, at least you have lessened the challenge because it is, they can well adapt in the environment because it's a local species. But there are some problems if, let's say, the pest is an alien species. It is a species that being brought from abroad. So meaning that they will not have their natural enemies in a new environment. So the challenge now, there are a few cases that the natural enemies of this alien species in a new country, you have to import it, you have to buy it from other countries. And now you need to acclimatize it. You need to have a condition for that one, in order to rear and to make sure that they're really, really suitable in the new environment. But there will be also challenges. What happened if at one time the species has already been regulated well? Okay, no longer, no population is under control. Yeah, what will happen to the natural enemies? Because that is not their local environment. What are the things that they can do? They need to find hosts, and they might attack, a different species, which might be a beneficial species in our country, for example. So these are the things that really needs a lot of study, a very thorough study. It's not like 1 or 2 years work. I'm sure that for those who have been involved in mass running of biological control agent have the experience, you know, the ups and downs, yeah, until the moment that you can mass release it in the field. Yeah. Okay, so that is the biggest challenges. And also to convince, that's another thing. The challenge is also to convince the farmers. I would say not only the farmers, not only but the company. I mean the farmers in terms of they want to see a fast, what do you call it, result. And you know that regulation of population, it takes some time, yeah, to be it established. So these are all the mindset. That's why we cannot do that without the support with a regulatory framework impact. I mean the authority, the government, the authority agencies that are really involved in this one, they should be able to understand also, you know, if you're looking into sustainable agriculture for the future, all right, so these are the things we need to balance up. Yes, you want the produce, you want the yield, you want to have a better to generate income, but at the same time, how to balance up with the environment, with the sustainable agriculture. Yeah, so that's are the challenges. I would see that the biggest challenge on that one. And yeah, we really do need a lot of experts, scientists that are very, very diligently work, you know, very patient to work in this area. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you, ma'am, because I think studying this biological control agents to be
Mhm.
effective and stabilized in the field, it will take you not only 2 to 3 years, but
No.
10 years,
Yeah.
a very long
Mhm.
time. So
So
we have another question that is related. So Miss Emelita Torino asks if there is any possibility that these natural enemies become pests during the absence of their hosts.
yeah, that's have been mentioned just now.
Yeah.
If it is a local species, yeah, the local species, we do have no problem. All right, it's a less problem because it's available. Yeah, and they will find because they already have a targeted what do you call it, host or prey. Yeah, if it is a local. So the problem, as I mentioned just now, yeah, there's also a question here. How are we going to deal with bioinvasiveness or some introduced biopod agents? Yeah. It is still ongoing. So that's why in terms of there should be a thorough study in terms of the biology, yeah, in terms of the ecology, the understanding of the population dynamics of that particular species that has been introduced in a new environment or in a new country. A thorough study before it's not like a night work, you know, you okay, that's what it works there coming back. No, I understand, yes, it takes a long time, and that is why the advancement, we need the experts in genetic. Okay. I sorry. I was about to say about the genetic engineering GMOs, yeah, of certain what do you call it, biological control with a genetic improvement in terms of resistance and everything. So we need to manipulate this expertise, this advanced technology in terms of the species of the biological control agent. It's not as simple of you bringing in one and then you introduce. No, sometimes we need also some in terms of the modifications, or in terms of the genes, yeah, modifications, so on and so forth. So it is an integration of different discipline of science, you know, to come out with a what do you call it, improved genetic biological control agent. Yeah. So okay, good morning. How to mask? Okay. There's a question. Sorry, I'm reading the question.
It's okay, ma'am. I would
I'm
like
used
to
to be.
yeah.
I'm used to do it in class like that. So I just read. Okay. Mass produced. Okay. These needs. We have an expert. Okay. Do we have an expert in NCPC on nematodes?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Yeah.
Our
They will
director is
pay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I will say that I'm promoting the NCPC now, for the because I'm not an expert in nematodes. I do have some experience in terms of rearing, but not as mass produced. Yeah. So there is a technique, to mass produce the nematodes in the field, because it's totally different, of course, compared to the species. If you talk about the species of insects, I can answer. But on the nematodes, yeah, they also have a way of doing it. And for that one, I think the NCPC have their own experts. And even also in other countries, if let's say the expert from NCPC would like to have some information from other country, we also do have the information experts on that one. For your information, nematodes experts are very, very critical, especially in
scarce.
very critical. I would say that because I'm the Dean of Faculty of Agriculture, and also I was once the Dean of Agriculture Council in Malaysia. So one of the pressing things that we have problems to face is having an expert in nematodes, especially on the mass rearing. Yeah, so that's why we have entomologists so far. Okay, doing okay lah. Yeah, but for nematodes experts, especially in mass rearing, that is something critical, and I think that is also opportunity, because there are many what you call opportunities or also problem faced, especially for those pests that dwells on the soil. Yeah. So we need the nematodes, soil nematodes, parasitic soil nematodes, to control that. Yeah. So that's a way. Yes, I cannot give it a detail on how to do it, but you can contact, I think, with the NCPC. I would say that they would be very happy to assist in terms of the mass rearing. There's a different way of doing it. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I'm curious because of course in Europe, for example, they are now marketing of macrobiological agents. But because of the difference in temperature in Asia,
Yeah.
do you see challenges why in our region we usually don't market them as commercially available macro BCAs?
Okay. So you're talking about okay. For microbes, I think it's no problem. I mean, yeah, you're talking about now is on the natural enemies
Yes,
or
naturally.
predators, and so yeah. That's all because it's time consuming. Time consuming, and also in terms of it takes a long time consuming. Yeah. Because you're in it, compared to dealing with the microbes, that we use, it's a formulation. You can't formulate a predator. You can't formulate something, because it's something living. It might change with the problem with the climate. You can see maybe a certain species can work in 20 years or 10 years ago in a certain environment, climates, but no, it's changing. When it's changed, that's why it is always a dynamic research. It has to be very dynamic. It is not like once you got it, that's it. No, it might not work also, in future. So time consuming, experts. My background is also on the taxonomy and biosystematics, right? One of the pressing problem is that we do not identify as much as possible the local, I would say local, if it's in Malaysia, then Malaysian species. In Indonesia, the local species, because there are lots. The natural enemies are there, but who will identify and do the study that we have not gone through? That's why never forget one aspect is the identification, the true identification of the available local species. I think it's very fundamental. It looks very fundamental, but it's important. When you already identify in the field what are the local, the natural enemies of certain pests, all right, you identify correctly. If you misidentify, there will be a problem, because once you identify, you need to go through the ecology, blah, 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 the biology and everything, right? So it always starts with a correct identification, yeah, of certain species of the biological control. The problem is sometimes there are some references, they reported a misidentification of species that leads to, what do you call it, a wrong control methods being used, So these are the problems that we don't want. Not you just imagine if you identify it wrongly, you spend what 5 years to mass or mass produce that species of predators of parasitoid, and suddenly, oh my god, then only people realize it is not the species that's supposed to be the natural enemies of that pest. It will be a waste of time. So never forget, that's why I said that it needs a lot of expert in different field to be integrated in a biological control management program. Yeah, it's not just entomologists. I don't say no, but entomologists and also entomologists in different what do you call it, field of studies also. Yeah.
Yes, and also if you have a stable production of the natural enemies, quality control is also important.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And also you need facilities, good facilities. A good facilities for the control. One of the things that I can see when I was in the chamber, the growth chamber or whatever for the mass production. So you have a very controlled environment to have a mass production of that particular species, that will be good. But of course, it's costly. So how serious are the agency or governance looking into to support the biological control studies or research to be done in that country? That will be a question. So that's why we need people who come up with the policy makers or whatever to see the importance of biological control. But as I mentioned just now, we're not saying that this is the only way, right? It has to be integrated. So that's why one of the things that being studied also, we've done in many of my student study, is looking into the what we call as the population dynamics of the species, because you don't have sometimes mass reading. It's very, very subjective. How many is mass? How many is enough, right? That's why it has to be looking into the population dynamics of a species sometimes to regulate. So that's what the word is, to regulate, to control. It's not to eliminate, right? Integrated pest management, we manage the pests, meaning that at certain point under the what you call injury level or under the threshold, they can still live. Yeah, you can still live there, yes, but it is under control. So that's the thing that people would might, some mindset when you want to control pests, meaning that totally kill it, eliminate until zero. No, that's not the point. It is to regulate the population under the economic threshold, right? Meaning that the pest is still there, right? So that's
true.
why biocontrol agent also, how many is enough? That's why the study on the population dynamics, looking into the consumption of the prey or the host, that has to be studied very well, so that we know how much is enough, is optimum enough to produce for the biocontrol agent.
And that point is also connected with ecological engineering approach. So we have
Yeah.
another question
Yeah.
from Mr. Gideon Burgonio. He says, thank you, Dr. Adam, for the very clear and informative lecture. How do you think we can effectively promote the ecological engineering approach in a culture characterized by predominant monocropping and industrial scale production?
Okay. So that's one of the success story that I've shared just now. That one has been done in Malaysia, because you know that in Malaysia, oil palm plantation it's our golden crop. One of the problems faced before the introduction of the beneficial plants, because of the use of excessive use of pesticides. We always blame the pesticide, but sometimes it's our problem also, right? So in that case, that we need to have a thorough study also. For example, what are the species? What are the species that need to be introduced in certain space? And you must know also which species actually the refuge or the habitats or the habitats that is particularly specific for the biocontrol agents. You must know for no, you cannot simply just buy any flowering plants. Or they say some people will say just buy any, but it will be a waste if you do not know. So that's why we need to have a study. Yeah. So one example just now done by Shari et al. Yeah. He has done on the study a certain a species of beneficial plants to be introduced, all right, in the ages of the oil palm plantation. It's not like one day or a few months work. It's a tedious work looking into which are the most potential and also what do you call it, more attracted for the biological control, I mean predators or the parasitoids. So that's why ecological engineering in terms of the what do you call it, the ecological engineering approach, you need to have a look. When you talk about ecology, you need to study on the ecology of this pest itself, the biological control, and also at the same time, that's why this approach is more also, it's in the view of the farmers also. We don't want to make it like a messy place, you know. We also need to have a viewpoint of the farmers also to make it beautiful, right? So the landscape of the agriculture area also need to be taken into account also. Yeah. Because frankly speaking, there are certain weeds are very, very suitable for as a refuge area for parasitoids and also predators. It's a weeds, you know, weeds. But how can we control at the same time? It's a weeds. If it is not controlled, it will, you know, it can spread out to your crops and so on and so forth. So now we need a strategy, you know, you need an expert to see how they can come out with a landscape with a very, what do you call it? They can have wheat, but on a certain area only, a certain stretch only. Yeah. So this design, yeah, the ecological engineering design, the design of the landscape of the agriculture also need to be studied. Yeah. That's why I said we need people also maybe from the landscape departments, you know, expert also to have a look at this one, because the ecological engineering aspect, looking at both benefits to the people, I mean, to the farmers in these terms, and also to the of course our crops, and also the pest, and also the biological control agent. Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Nur, for that. I myself came across a study about certain species of flowering plants, and they studied about the what do you call this, the mouth part that will fit to the flowering
Yeah.
plants to be
Yeah,
planted.
that's why.
Yeah, and
So
it's
it's
very
all
interesting.
interrelated. Yeah, meaning that whether for example, yeah, that's why you need also to know the species,
Yes.
the morphological you know, characteristic of species, the way of feeding. Is it a mandibular? Is it using their mandible? Is it sucking insects? So the plants, the beneficial plants to be introduced also, the characteristic of the plants, of the flowers, is also important, right? So that it can, you know, suit both the host and also the biological control agent. Yeah.
So now we go to the microbial agents. We have a question here from Mr. Josepino Malakis Jr. He says, "Good morning, Dr. Adam. I have a question on what would be the possible effects of microbial biocontrol agents on non-target organisms and and ecosystems, and also what strategies are employed to mitigate any potential adverse impacts on non-target organisms."
Okay. Well, I agree. I agree that there will be an impact. Not all right, but there will be a targeted. But that's the most important thing. We cannot run from there will be certain cases that some of the microbial agents that being introduced will also affect the non-target one. That is the challenge. That is a challenge. So that's why, as I mentioned just now, we need also to look into the more advanced technology, like having the the genetics, the studies on the genetics, how to modify to make sure that it will be more specific. Certain microbes, yes, it is very specific on certain species. Yeah, we cannot deny that. But some is more. That's why the choice of having the best choice is to have an agent which is species specific. That's the challenge. At the first point, before you come out with something, you need to have really, really certain in terms of the specificity of that particular species. The best is that to have an agent, a control agent, biocontrol agent, which is species specific. That is the best, but I know it's a challenge.
Yeah,
And I
it's so
also
hard.
cannot say, yeah, it's a challenge. Sometimes even in a genus group, genus specific also, there's a problem also. But if it goes into the non-target, maybe we can do some survey. We do some survey in terms of how serious is the they will infest or they will attack on the non-target. Is it up to that's why we need to know at what level. We cannot deny it will attack, but if the level of attack to the non-target is still, under the threshold of a certain population, all right, then we can accept it. That's why we need to do a survey. We cannot run from the problem that it will go to the non-target, I would say, because having a very species specific, it's not as easy as to be said, right? Right. We can give strategy, but the most important thing when you have introduced a certain agents, yeah, you need to do, that's the problem. Some people will always thought that, okay, I use this one, that's it. They don't do for the monitoring. We need to let after that to monitor to see whether there's an effect to the non-target. All right. So, and then if you see there's an effect, is it significant effect? In terms of the population, the regulation of the population is going down, really, really down, then maybe you have to stop of using that particular what do you call it? Microbes, yeah, in your field, yeah, and then you change it because it's an integrated pest management. The key here is integrated pest management. When you say integrated pest management, it's a combination. You might not use that particular microbes for the whole single 2-3 seasons, right? When you say that integrated, that is how the problem is, maybe because the use of the biopesticide, although it's a biopesticide, we never know. It will also, it's just like happen with the conventional. If you use it excessively, it might also have a certain effect on other things. So it's same sort things also made for the microbes, for example, yeah, biopesticide. That's why it is integrated. The most important thing is to find what is the best optimum integration in your particular field. You know better. That's a bookkeeping is very, very important in a agriculture field area. Yeah, sometimes the monitoring has not been done. They said that, oh, you just apply, that's it, use and let us see. No, the monitoring is very important. Where if you go for the IPM strategy, the steps, one of the important thing is that monitoring before and also after. It's a continuous. It's not just simply, and integration. The integration of various methods in your field might not be the same with mine, although we have the same crops. Because we have different, maybe a slightly different abiotic conditions, right? So that's why monitoring of the conditions of your field, your abiotic and biotic factors in your ecosystems, in your environment, in your agriculture is very important. So as you mentioned just now, it's not how to make sure that that's why you need the rotation. the use of implementation of methods of control need to be rotated according to the needs of your particular field. That will be the way of doing it. Maybe you can see once you do the monitoring very well, already, okay, I should change this. Not all the seasons I would use the same, pesticide, biopesticide. You have to change it. Same this also goes with the conventional one.
Correct. Monitoring and integration for the
Yes.
best strategy for the current field conditions. Yes. And now we have another question from Azlina Zakaria. She
Oh,
says that the mindset and awareness by operation is important. The concept of IPM need to be fully understood in order for biological control to be successful. My question is, what is the suggestion on how to make the operators understand and aware the importance of biological control and don't just depend on chemical control as a shortcut?
thank you, Azlina, for your information. Azlina is my former PhD student. He says working now with the oil palm plantation. She's here. Okay. So I think like Azlina mentioned just now, yeah, to convince. That's why it is very important if we have the model study, if we have some what do you call it, a model to show to convince the operator. I think that like Azlina, because she's working with the oil palm plantation, with the operators, to convince. The most, if like in some, okay, Azlina, because I know her, that's why the research center of from your company would come up with a model. You can show, you have already shown, you already have a model showing that, see, because seeing is believing. Seeing is believing, if you can come out a model, a showcase to show that, that's why research is very important. Facts and figures is very important to convince people. Yeah. You need to have that, by all means, you need to have that facts and figures, a showcase model to show that the use of either predators or parasitoids in your area is working. So dedicate, my suggestion, if you're in the research center of your particular company, dedicate a certain model area, I would say, that has the implementation of all these beneficial plants, the release of biocontrol, the predators, to show a model. And not that has to be really with a lot of research and facts and figures. If you have this people will see, seeing is believing, they want to see it works, you can relate it. Okay, you make a calculation in terms of the benefits, the cost effectiveness of doing this, and then try the tangible benefit and intangible benefit, put it in place. But as I mentioned, if you have a model, a showcase model that people can go and see, that will help, because normally people always go something that they can see and show, so that's my
Another
thank you,
question.
Azlina.
I will entertain last two questions. We have a lot of questions and their interests are really picked. So this question from anonymous attendee from our social platform. He asks, can you share how Malaysia ensures the availability of BCAs to farmers and maybe some insights on how other countries make these BCAs available to farmers?
Okay. I give one example. In Malaysia, as I mentioned just now, in trichogramma, yeah, it's a parasitoid. It's been used to control because in Malaysia we have one area, a highland area, which is very, very productive in terms of producing the vegetables. Yeah, and one of the main production there in the highland is the cabbage. Malaysia loves cabbage, right? So cabbage. So one of the things is that the introduction of the trichogramma species. Yeah. because the first, it has been done quite some time, a long time ago, but after it has been introduced, mass rearing, but it's local. Yeah, it's a local species. Only that once they already mass release, after that, maintain the ecosystems, yeah, maintain the diversity by having to augmentate the habitats to make it having beneficial plants over there, so it will regulate. And also in terms of make a survey in terms of to see the population, whether it's increasing or decreasing from time to time. Yeah, and also there's also one study. This is something different. You know, to control the smell from the poultry. Okay, when you have the chicken house and everything. So because of the feces, yeah, it will produce lots of smells. And also you can have, flies, larvae inside it. So one of the things that being mass produced is on the one group of family Evanidae. It's a species of insects. Evanidae, they use it to control, the larvae of the flies in the what do you call it, in the feces of the poultry, of the chicken dung. Yeah. Okay. So, and also I guess in Malaysia, in terms of to control also, I would say that the vegetables and also for the predators in terms of predators, that what has been commercially, I think is still under, looking into it. Maybe Azlina also can give a point of view on the use of predators. She's also been working with in a PhD before this on the predators and other beetles to control bagworm also, but still need a lot of study in terms of the successful rate. So I guess that if you go towards in other countries like in India, all right. For example, they have a good success story on the use of the bacteria, yeah, to control in terms of their vegetables. Nematodes use also, parasitic nematodes to control, as I mentioned just now, the what do you call it, the slugs, yeah, and also in, yeah, that there's a few things, but as I mentioned, it's a challenge also. It's quite a challenge sometimes. The introduction of certain species from outside, from other countries, the good thing is that I can't remember the name of the species that been introduced. When they introduce, once the regulation of that pest, the certain pest has been down, then they also will, slowly will decrease also. Yeah. All right. So yeah, a lot of study, I think, has to be done on the biological control research. That's an opportunities for that. Yeah.
In connection with the lots of opportunities, Mr. Vince Lagan asks, what future research directions do you see as critical for advancing the field of biological control in sustainable agriculture? So this is our last question.
All right. Future research, as I mentioned, we need also to, as I mentioned just now, we need some advancement in technology also. Okay. We have the conventional, the scientists that work on the ground, on the biology, the ecology, that one. Yes. Yeah. But we also need the advanced technology to be integrated also, as I mentioned just now. How do you monitor? Okay. Is there any technology by using the drones or the GIS system that you can monitor, you can track, the population? As I mentioned just now, monitoring is important, but sometimes the limitation is manpower. Of course, right? The manpower, and everything. Because monitoring has to be done, continuously. As long as you do the agriculture, you need to do it on it. But the advancements by using the drone, the GIS, the geographic information system, and there is a light there because now there is a technology to identify the availability, the occurrence of pests. Here it's pests, okay, in the field, by using the image of satellites and so on and so forth. So these are the things, the the challenge now, how can we use this to monitor the biocontrol agents? Because that's the challenge now. But recently, before this, a few years ago, people has been they have no problem in identifying using the GIS system, whatever, in terms of to see the nutrient, different kind of nutrient. It's easy. But when you're dealing with insects, it's moving. Yeah, pests. But now they have we can see there's a light in the end of the tunnel. There's there will be some success story because we have a scientist in UPM, for example, that work with that one. They can, detect, identify this pest species. Then why not? There will be another advancement using this to monitor the biological control, population in the field. So that way, and then also on the genetic studies of the biological control. How can we have the resistance biological control that can resist, different level of pesticides application, because as I mentioned, we cannot avoid using the conventional pesticides. We cannot, especially in a large scale production, right? We agree that, all right? So it has to be integrated. So if we can come up looking into the other way, we come out with a species of biological control which is more resistance, just as what we have done to our plants, a resistant variety of crops. Why not a resistance, what do you call, I don't know, variety or what? Not variety, you get a resistance traits of biological control agent. Yeah.
Thank you all. Yeah. Any final thoughts, ma'am? That will be your final thoughts, or
okay. First of all, thank you very much once again. I think one hour is enough. Normally, this one is very, very, I would say, controversial issue also when we have other people. Yeah. As I mentioned, I do not say that biological control methods is the only way, but it is one of the way to be integrated with other methods, right? Because the challenge, as mentioned, that like Azura mentioned, the challenge is to change the mindset of our people, of the people, to see that agriculture is beyond looking into dollars and cents. It's beyond that. If now, if we want to go towards sustainable, we also have to put into account the human factors, the health factors, the environment factors into the formula, so, and to balance up that one. So yes, a challenge to change the mindset. That's why we need leaders in agriculture, the one who understand this, and understand the sustainability is what we need for our future generation. I might not be here in 20 or 30 years in future, but the generation, the population is keeping increasing, the new generation, the young ones. So these are the mindset of people that we should inculcate from, from small, so that we have in future, in 20, 30 years, a leader that is well learned with the sustainable approaches. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you all for your active participation and insightful questions during our open forum session. Unfortunately, in the interest of time, we will need to bring this engaging discussion to a close. So we appreciate each and every one of you for sharing your thoughts, queries, and experiences. For any unanswered questions or additional insights you may have, please feel free to reach out us through our website or social media channels. Your engagement doesn't have to end here, and we welcome further discussions beyond this webinar. Again, we would like to express our gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Noor. Your knowledge and insights with us today. Your presentation has been a thought-provoking and inspiring call to action for all of us to embrace more sustainable practices in our respective fields. So let's give Dr. Noor a round of applause for her excellent presentation. And we would like to thank you all for your active participation. and your enthusiasm and curiosity have made this session truly valuable. So as we conclude the open forum, let's carry forward the knowledge and inspiration gained today to promote sustainable practices in agriculture. Thank you once again, everyone, and I will now give the floor back to Ms. Roma. Ms. Roma?
Thank you very much, Ms. Mao, for excellently facilitating the open forum. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Noor, for passionately sharing your knowledge in BCAs from identification, collection, monitoring, production, application, and its future directions. And we are also grateful to all the participants on Zoom and Facebook for your active participation. It's great to see people's interest in biological control agents through the numerous questions we received today. So biological control has been a topic of discussion for decades, but it's encouraging to witness significant progress in research in this field. We hope that more and more farmers will be able to adopt the use of biological control. Okay, at this point, we will proceed with the awarding of Certificate of Appreciation. Let me read the citation. University of the Philippines, Los Baños College of Agriculture and Food Science, National Crop Protection Center. Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Dr. Noor Azura Binti Adam for serving as resource person on the topic Guardians of the Grains, Biological Control Agents for Sustainable Agriculture during the NCPC Anniversary Webinar held on 21 May 2024 via Zoom. Given this 21st day of May 2024 at the National Crop Protection Center, College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna, Philippines. Signed, Charlotte Hagasohas, Chair of the Seminar Series Committee, Dr. Barbara L. Tawili, NCPC Director, and Dr. Elpidio Magbisit Jr., CAPS Team. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Noor. Okay, so we will now proceed with the evaluation part. You may access the evaluation form by scanning the QR code shown on the screen or by clicking the link shared in the comment section or chat box. I just want to emphasize that you will receive an e-certificate when you answer the evaluation form on or before 5 p.m. of May 22, 2024. After that period, the evaluation form will no longer be accessible. So that concludes our webinar. To close our program, let us hear from the Director of the National Crop Protection Center, Dr. Barbara L. Tawili.
Thank you, Roma. So to our resource speaker, Dr. Noor Azura Binti Adam, Circa Deputy Director for Programs, to the College of Agriculture and Food Science Dean, Dr. Elpidio M. Agbisit Jr., to the NCPC personnel, and to all participants who joined us today in this webinar, a pleasant morning to all of you. So allow me to thank our resource speaker, Dr. Noor, for giving a comprehensive and interesting discussion about biological control agents and how they can contribute towards sustainable agriculture through her insights and experience as entomologist. Today's episode highlighted examples of the different natural enemies and insect pathogens for the management of insect pests, the use of modern technologies to hasten species identification, application and monitoring biological control agents, the importance of understanding the different ecological roles of these biological control agents and their genetics, as well as pointers for their efficient use as part of an integrated pest management program. So we at NCPC are always committed to the discovery and further development of various pest management strategies and technologies, including biological control agents. So I hope that this webinar has brought each of us new learnings and perspectives and better understanding of biological control agents, as well as inspiration to continue exploring and conducting research and discussion about these important organisms. We are hopeful that in the near future, we will be able to maximize the potential of these biological control agents in pest management and disease management by addressing the challenges in their mass rearing as well as field application through ecological engineering that provides a conducive habitat to the natural enemies. We also thank you and CIRCA's interest to collaborate us on this research so we can make these biological control agents affordable to farmers and convince the policy and regulatory bodies of their importance as one of the ways in mitigating pests, especially in securing the future of food security. And let us be the leads or lead guardians of the greens in Southeast Asia. So NCPC will again definitely visit you soon at CIRCA. So thank you also to the webinar participants for joining us today for the active engagement throughout the webinar. I also commend NCPC webinar team for organizing this event, and we are also grateful to the UPLB Information Technology Development Center for hosting this Zoom webinar. So thank you everyone for being part of the celebration of NCPC's 48th anniversary. So for a food secured future, maraming salamat po. Hiraya Manawari. Back to you, Roma.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kawili. And of course, again, thank you very much to all our participants who joined us today via Zoom and Facebook. And thank you to all the webinar team, and congratulations. Also, we would like to acknowledge our sponsors, Leads Agri, Masaganang Ani, Masaganang Buhay, Cortiva AgriScience, and Crop Protection Association of the Philippines. Stay updated with NCPC's events by following our Facebook page, visiting our website, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you very much and have a great day ahead.